Okay, so another way to do it, and this one we're going to kind of move a little bit faster through because that was a long time. This is called the generic game, and basically it's just another sort of thing that you do to describe a work of art. And again, there are no right or wrong answers. And this game, you can find it online. It's just a series of questions that basically you ask while you're in front of an artwork. And you can, if you want to enliven your museum experience, then this is something that you can do. So Ben, you want to go to the next slide? Okay, so the first question before you even begin this game is you look at this. It's a photograph, maybe it's a painting in a photograph. I'm not really sure what's happening in this, but immediately, like a visceral reaction, do you like this work of art? Why or why not? Now, I'm not going to ask you all to do this, but I just want you to, in your mind, sort of, yes or no. Do you like it, and why or why don't you like it? Okay, and hold on to that, because we're going to go through this just like we did Charles Demuth's number 5, and we might revisit this question at the end. Okay, go to the next slide, Ben. Okay, so the next question, and again, you can do this all in your head. You can write this down if you want, but this is just the question of, what are we looking at it? But now specifically colors, right? So I'll name some colors. So we've got kind of it looks a little bit washed out, actually, this photo, but it's like the blue sky, the blue, the ocean, or whatever he's looking at, maybe a lake. There's kind of a bluish mountain range back there. It's a guy standing with black pants and maybe a maroon shirt with some stripes. And then he's looking at a canvas that looks very much like the same colors of his shirt. And then there's this gray kind of concrete. Okay, you want to go next? Okay, objects that we see. Again, I'm going to name things, you're going to see them as well. So you have a man who's looking at a canvas. And he seems to be standing at the edge of water. This looks like these kind of break, the cement kind of break for the water. There are mountains in the background, clouds in the sky, maybe some sailboats on the water. Okay, next. Okay, so this is more for you, but I will just do my own. Does anything you see remind you of something from your own life? I have been to Lake Como in Italy, and this has a very similar appearance, like a lake in the middle of a mountain range. But again, you can do your own analysis. Or maybe it reminds you of a time that you were painting on the side of saw somebody doing a landscape painting at a beautiful place, which it doesn't seem like that's what this guy's doing. But again, think of a time in your life that, or a place that you are familiar with. Okay, next. Is it true to life? Another question that you ask. And this is a photograph, so it seems pretty true. The artist makes things appear just by kind of posing everything and taking a picture. So this isn't composed of like the number 5 painting, where it was a painting that the artist had to figure out where to put things. This is just a photograph of a guy painting. Okay, next, Ben. Okay. What ideas or emotions do you think are expressed? That's a tough one for this one, I think. If I had to guess, that guy is probably, he's considering his next move on this painting, so maybe thoughtfulness. He's not painting the scenery that we're looking at, so it doesn't seem like he's in awe of the scenery. It seems like he's more enamored with his clothing, which I think is funny. But again, you do your own analysis. Okay, Ben, you want to go to the next? Do you have a sense of how the artist might have felt when making this? Does it inspire any feelings in you? I think he was being cheeky. I think that the artist was making fun of all of those artists that are really seriously trying to paint landscapes, and he was having a laugh. But I think it's funny, and so it inspires feelings in me of kind of satire or parody, and I appreciate what he's doing, and so I'm appreciative of this move to upset this thing that happens all the time, which is artists out in the world painting landscapes. Okay, you go next. Okay, did I learn anything about myself new after looking at this work of art? Yeah, I guess I like it when someone does something frivolous. This looks frivolous to me. So I guess I like frivolity, and I didn't know that I liked it as much as I do. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm done. I just told you all of these things. I sort of, you might have had all different reactions, but I'm going to give you these last 2 slides for you to do some talking. So if you had to come up with a title for this, what would the title be? Now, this is assuming you're in the museum and you haven't looked at the title yet, because oftentimes they put the title right next to a painting. But if you want to do this game, don't look at the title first, because that's where the fun comes in for this. Okay, what's the actual title of this? You want to go to the next slide? On Lake Geneva, 2014. So now the question is, now that you know the title, does it make sense or inform the work in some way? So you've made up your own title, but now you know the title. So the question is, does it make you feel differently about the painting now that you know the title? No? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, again, I would say that knowing the title means that, I mean, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of art, right? So I know that, you know, there's this genre of landscape painting that you do on plein air, which Ben said, you know, outdoors. And usually the image would be of Lake Geneva. So it's another kind of satirical, cheeky move that he's making by saying, you know, I'm on Lake Geneva, but that's not what I'm painting. This is just the shirt I wear when I go to Lake Geneva. Okay, so let's go to the next. And I want you to think about where you were at the beginning and where you are now. And who wants to talk about, at the beginning when we first looked at this, I thought it was garbage, or I thought it was funny, and now I hate it, or what, you know, any kind of reactions that you had from the beginning to the end. I'm glad. It's important to I mean, I think you can learn from just as much from a work of art by not liking it, because it tells you, like, what, you know, why don't you like it, I guess is the question. I mean, I actually think that by painting the stripes, he makes the scene uninspiring, right? Like he pulls away the inspiration of the scene, which is great. Yeah, good. So you and Clara know, like, I'm not into this kind of, I want inspiration from my artworks. I don't need this parody or satire. Good, that's great. Okay, I think that actually is the end of this this thing. So basically the reason that we did this was because I wanted you to know that there are a few ways to sort of approach a painting, and the first one we did was kind of academic, and this is more. You know, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about line and composition or depth or anything. This was more just about, like, observing what you see and sort of how do you feel about what you're looking at. And both are legitimate. There are a number of ways I didn't talk about. There are ways to go into a work of art, like say it's aesthetically pleasing to me, and why, and then, you know, talk about that. And or there's genre, or there's chronology. There's a bunch of different ways to go into a work of art. These are just two of many ways. So I did both of these so you could have an idea of describing how to describe a work of art. And then the last question, which I don't have here, is why describe a work of art? And I think we basically got to that, which is because it brings the work of art alive in some way, right? Like both of these things we wouldn't have spent any time on if we'd seen them in the museum, would have walked right by them probably. But by spending time on them, we learned a little bit about ourselves and a little bit about the artworks themselves. So, you know, and there's never a day wasted if you spend 15 minutes looking at a work of art, you know. So, okay.